What's up everybody, ZWade Photo. Today we're going to do an unboxing, but before I get too far into it, I want to invite you to come and check out my website, ZWadePhoto.com. Check out my personal art portfolio, and if you want, swing by the print shop and pick you up a print. So I've been lusting after this particular lens really since it released, just because it's very lens porny, and I haven't got it because I haven't found myself in a situation where I could really justify it, because I don't like having things that I don't need. However, at a local photography meetup, I left my flash at home because I thought for sure we'd have plenty of daylight, and we didn't. And so I would have really liked to have had this lens just for a little bit extra light. The Nikkor Z 50mm f1.2. That's right, the gargantuan, unnecessarily large 50mm. However, I do kind of appreciate the gigantic nature, because if you've seen any of my videos, you know I am a huge fan of lens porn. Giant gaping lens holes. You already know what I'm doing right here. This stupid thing that always turns into Chef Zach, aka the Orthodox Priest. So let's get into more unboxing of this lens. We have got the instructions. We don't need that. This particular lens costs about $2,100 after tax, somewhere in that ballpark. And so I imagine you don't need the instructions if you can afford this lens. This is not a consumer level lens. This is very much a unique, professional kind of level of lens. It is very well packaged. So this free floats on every single side, but these foam inserts keep it from ever being able to dream of hitting the sides. It is very nicely packaged, as most Nikon equipment is. It is so big. This is as big as my 24-70, which is currently on my camera. Good Lord. I knew it was big, but... Okay, so we have the nice locking hood. This is absolutely enormous. For a 50mm, it's not huge just like in general for like a lens, but it's huge for a 50. I'm gonna set the lens hood off to the side. It is not felt lined. I think those days are over. I feel like it should be for $2,000, but you don't really see that much anymore, but there is no shine to it. They do like a matte finish on the inside. Set that off to the side here, and let's look at the gigantic gaping hole. That is a black hole of a 50mm lens. I will say, kind of disappointing, and this is not like a huge thing, but Nikon has been doing really good on their lens caps, and I feel like this one isn't as good. Like, that might come off on your jeans. It popped off, so be careful with that. Nikon, you should have done a little bit better on this kind of level of lenses. All your other lenses that are as expensive as this are, you know, they're way better than that. I don't know what makes this one different. The back looks like exactly what I would expect it to look like. We've got an auto and a manual button. We have one lens function, and then of course we have that goofy display. Oh. For a gigantic lens, that's a pretty nice focus ring. It is rubber. I prefer metal, but you know, and this is just for decoration up here on the top. That's just for decoration. That doesn't do anything. I feel like it's not as heavy as everybody made it out to be, but it is kind of heavy, all things considered. It's heavier than most of the Z glass anyway. I'm going to compare the size and the weight of this to the 105 f2.8 micro. Just one second. I'm also going to compare it to the 24-70, which I've got recording me right now. It's easily 1.25 inches or 1.5 inches longer than the 24-70. It's probably 3/4 of an inch bigger than the 105 f2.8. It's not hugely, it's not a huge amount heavier than the 105, but it is heavier. Here's the thing, guys. I'm not a pansy, okay? I actually like heavy lenses because, to me, they feel like they're better made. Whether they are or not, they feel substantial, and to me they feel like they're just higher quality. The light ones scare me because even though they may be tough, I feel like they would crack just bumping it. Now this has so much damn glass in it that bumping it may not feel like it would crack it, but it may rattle one of those damn things around. I don't know. I take really good care of my lenses, so I'd never have to really worry about that. I'm gonna throw this on the Z7 II and see how it balances in the hands. It's absolutely massive on the front of it. Okay, so it is a little forward leaning, but I don't shoot with one hand. But I totally could. Okay, so it's pretty heavy on the front of the camera. I will admit that. It makes noise whenever you manually focus it. Let's see how loud it is with autofocus. So I would say the autofocus is not as fast and zippy as the 50mm 1.8, but the 50mm 1.8 is a lot smaller, a lot less glass. You would expect this to focus slower. As I said earlier, this is a very special use case, right? So do you need this over the 50mm 1.8? Absolutely not. If you make any money at all shooting photography and you can afford the f1.2 versus the f1.8, then yeah, maybe you should get this, because this will come in handy in certain really tough situations. And also, like, razor thin depth of field can be really fun to use in like an artistic manner. But even if you're not an artist, in certain situations that 1.2 is going to come in handy. But so far what I can tell you is that the f1.8 is faster on the autofocus than this, and it's also a lot more quiet. But you don't buy something like this for quietness or convenience. You buy something like this because you either need it or you have some kind of artistic purpose for a razor thin depth of field and you want it. Let me see if you can hear this. That's that motor moving that glass around. I'm pretty sure this has like a dual motor for moving that around at a pretty quick pace. The autofocus, I'm not saying it's slow at all. I'm just saying the f1.8 is faster. This is zippy enough, but this is also coming from a guy that shoots a lot of manual focus. Some of my favorite lenses ever are manual focus lenses. And so, that it doesn't bother me. It's not slow, okay? It's not slow. I'm just simply saying that the f1.8 is faster, and that's it. That's a wrap of this episode of ZWade Photo. I'm gonna go try to snap off some photos before it gets too dark. Do you have this lens? Are you thinking about getting it? Do you need f1.2? If you already have the f1.8, would you ever upgrade to this? Let me know that in the comments below. If you found this video helpful, informative, or entertaining, make sure you like, share, subscribe, hit the bell notification so you don't miss the test shots that I take with this camera lens coming up very, very soon, and I will catch you in the next one.